Hello, good morning everyone. Today in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a little pendant for Christmas. So we're going to start with the solid options. We're going to go to box, and I'm going to start this box from the center of the document. So I want to make sure I choose center. So the center of base is going to be 0, so 0, enter. And now I can just type in 15 times 15 times 15. So this is going to be 15 mil by 15 mil by 15 mil. Okay. So it's the same proportions all over on each axis. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is, with the gimbal activated as it is now, I'm going to press on Shift and Alt, and I'm going to make a copy to the inside. Okay. I can make this a bit bigger this way, and actually I'm going to make it something like this. Okay. You can put it in another layer if you want to. Okay, so I got this. Then I'm gonna use not this view. As you can see now, I got 2 perspective viewport by default. I want to change that. I want to make sure I have 4 views, 4 regular views. So you can just type in on the command line 4 view, enter. Just do it twice. So that's gonna reset your viewport, just like this. Okay. If you want more space on your screen, you can just reduce this slightly. That's going to help you. And now from the top view, I'm going to select this new object, and I'm going to use rotate with copy. So on the command line, just check copy, center of rotation 0, enter, and shift this way. Okay. So this is going to be the box. So I've just done this rotation to have a visual understanding of my model. But to be honest, I only need one of them. Okay. But I usually draw the whole thing, even if it's not finished, just for me to understand the model. Okay. So this is going to be a box, and this is going to be the ribbon that wraps around the Christmas present. Okay. So I would only need to make one properly and then make a copy. But yeah, so that's the first step. Now I'm going to make the lace that's going to be on top of it. So I could do that with a curve and using a freeform curve. Okay. So probably I'm going to draw something like this. Yeah, something like this is fine. And I'm going to make it probably a bit this way. Okay. And just one tip here. So what I'm going to do now, so the next step would be to make an offset from this. So I can use offset and make an offset here towards the inside. But before I do that, I want to make sure that the outside line is completely, it's a bit more rounded than what it is now. So as you can see, it's not fully rounded. So it's going to look much better if I make it a bit rounded. So one little tip is to use a circle just as a visual reference. I'm not going to use this circle. Okay. So 3 points, and then just draw a circle around here. You can put it in another layer if you want to. And now you can edit, you can edit this line to make sure it follows this curvature. Before I do that, I'm going to make it a bit smaller, just like this. And now if I use this line, let's try control point first. I will probably need to increase, maybe not. I was about to say, I might need to increase my control point numbers, but I might not need to actually. Okay, so something like this looks a bit better to me. And now I don't need this anymore, I can just delete it. So that's my first line that I want to. Okay. Remember always, when you draw lines, I strongly recommend that you check on other views as well. Okay. That's going to help you understand your model completely. Just in case something goes wrong, you would have an understanding of what's going on and why something went wrong. Okay, so now that I got this, I can make an offset. So the offset is also here. Offset, you can either use the parametric or not, that's entirely up to you. I'm gonna make it something like this, okay? But what I will also do is trim this line slightly. So I'm gonna trim it. Okay. So this is what I wanted. But as you can see, it's one open curve. I don't want that. I want my line to be closed. So I'm gonna go to line and I'm gonna use this, okay? Well, actually, I do want the lines to be open, but I'm gonna play with that later, okay? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just get these lines and extrude them to this way, something like this. Again, this is just for me to have a visual understanding of the model. I'm going to change everything later, okay? So now if I do this, okay, it's getting there. I know the shape is still not right, but I'm going to change that in a second, okay? So the overall thickness is fine, but what I want to do now is delete this, and I'm going to copy this here and this line on the other side. So I'm going to make a mirror there. So all I want is these two lines. I'm doing this because I don't want just a straight extrusion here. I want to add a bit of volume, make it look a bit organic. So I'm going to draw one single straight line from here to here, and I'm going to reveal this line to have, yeah, something like 5 control points should be fine. So now that I got these control points, I can just use all of this, pull this line, pull these points out, and this one in, for example. Okay, so this is going to help me create a surface that it looks a bit more organic. So this is going to be my profile for these rails. So if I use sweep to rails, that's one rail, another rail, and a cross-section curve. Enter. And okay. So as you can see, it looks more like a ribbon already, right? Okay, I do not want this cap at the end. So actually what I will also do, I'm going back and I'm going to copy this line. I'm going to copy it. So copy from here to here. Okay, and now I do sweep to rail again. So that's one rail, another rail, cross-section curve, cross-section curve. Enter. That looks better. I'm going to close it if I can. I don't think I could. Yeah, I'd rather not close it actually. So I should actually explode these lines because I don't want any of this. Okay. So I join this again. And now if I use flip to rail, so 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, this looks better. Okay, and now what I would also recommend is that you use blend curve from this edge to this edge. Okay, and I'm going to explode this. So remember that explode is here. And now if you run sweep to rail again, that's one rail, another rail, cross-section curve, you will end up with a closed surface. And it's going to look quite organic because it's going to follow the curvature here on the side. Okay, I can simply mirror this one across, join it. Okay, and it's all pretty much solid. I can try to cut this. Of course, it's not going to allow me. but I can simply draw a plane to chop it off. Okay, just like this. So I can split this object with this plane, and I'm gonna be able to cut it now. As you can see, now it's a solid object, okay? If I show everything again, now what I would do is to make this look a bit more, slightly more organic looking, okay? So as you can see now it's quite straight. I would always like to avoid that, so I can run a cage edit here, bounding box, C-plane, 444333, enter, enter again, and I have these control points over here. So what I would do, just to give it a bit of shape, so maybe bring this in a little bit. Actually, something like this is quite fine already. I would probably make this a bit wider. Could move it to one side, maybe you can rotate this way, just to make it look a bit less geometric, you know? Something like this is quite good, I think. Okay, so the first thing I was saying that I haven't done is that we only need one of them, we don't need the other one. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to isolate it. And actually, I'm going to use the outside lines just to run the profiles. So probably the best way to proceed is to run a rectangle, but with the rounded edges. So rounded edges, first corner here, second corner here, and I will just make the edges a bit rounded like this. Okay, and I can simply copy this new line to the other side and just remove this part. And now again, the same way I made top bit, I'm going to make this little part. So I just need to draw a line from here to here. Make sure it's in the center. Do not draw the line here because that's going to change the way the geometry looks, okay? So it's always better to put it here in the center. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to use rebuild. And again, 5 and 2 is fine. And now edit control points, make 3 of them high and the one in the center a bit low. You can do this as you really want to. You can also do like that, like this, or you can just keep trying if you want to. Okay, now flip the rail. That's one rail, another rail, and the cross-section core. And this is my ribbon for the side, okay? This is my lace. So as you can see, on the sides it's completely open. I don't want that, so I'm going to cap it to make sure that it's solid. Yeah, I can make it a bit wider if I want to. Okay, and now before I do the copy to the other side, what I would do is do the fillet edge to make sure that the edges on the box are also a bit rounded. Okay, so I'm going to go to solid, and here I've got fillet edge, and I'm going to start playing with the distances. If I select the edges, probably 1 mil is a bit too much, but let's give it a go. I might be surprised. Oops, I missed one edge in there. But actually 1 mil is not that far from what I needed to. So I'm gonna go with fillet edge again, and I'm gonna do 1.1. And I'm gonna start selecting all the edges. Okay, so these are all the edges that I want to fillet. Enter. That's a bit better. And now I'm going to copy this part to the other side. So rotate, we copy yes, 0, enter, shift up, shift right, enter. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. What else I would do? Well, as you can see, all three ones are exactly on the same side. It shouldn't be like that, so I'm just going to scale one down and scale one up maybe. Just a little bit, just to avoid having the same height on both parts. And then this part, I'm going to just mirror it to the other side. Okay, and of course this is going to be on this side. Okay, it's getting there. It's getting quite close. I'm just going to save the document just in case. And the next step will be to add a veil for the pendant. So we have a command for that. You can simply go to settings and we have the option of veil. If you just move it up, okay, we will obviously need to make it significantly bigger. Oops, let's start again. I move it a bit too much. Okay. We have the parameters here. Of course, the profile, I would change it to something something like this. And I will also change the bottom profile. So I'm going to change it to this. As you can see, the proportions are a bit better now. The jump ring is not in the right place, so I'm going to move it. Okay, something like this is much better. I'm just going to move it down. And probably what I would do is just rotate this. Maybe not. Well, it's entirely up to you. You can just change it if you want to. Okay. We're going to focus now on putting the pave here. So what I would do is simply start positioning the stones first, and then we're going to make the insert for the metal. Okay, I think it's a better way of organizing, or maybe not. Maybe we can try to use push-pull. Let's give it a go. Oh, we need a curve, so let's draw a line first. We could actually use a rectangle from 3 points. So that's going to be 1, another 1, and 3. See? So this is our line, which is here now. I put it in red so you can see it a bit better. And now if we use push-pull, as you can see here, it's on the recent commands. Select curve, select surface. Oops. Okay, so yeah, push-pull is not working. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna just draw a line. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do first. We're gonna draw a line. We're gonna split our geometry with this line. So we have this, and now this is a separate surface now. So we're gonna do offset surface. We're gonna reverse the direction and solid yes, and the distance is gonna be 0.4, 0.5. Okay, make sure solid is set to yes, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select this object and I'm going to explode it. So this outside layer, outside face can go out, and now I have this insert. Okay, so now I'm going to put my stones in there. How can I do that? If you want to remove some of the objects, you can just hide them if you want, okay, if it's easier for you to model. So I'm going to go to gem placer. As you can see, the direction is wrong. Now it's right. So I can just uncheck my control points, sorry, my off-naps if I want to. And I'm going to start placing stones. Don't worry too much if you get this, okay? Because it's quite easy to set up how many stones can you fit in here. So one easy way is just to put 2 stones, even if it doesn't fit perfectly. And then go to a regular view, like this one, and simply scale them up. So transform, scale, which is here. And as you can see now it fits much better, okay? So now you can just make copies. Okay, and just adjust slightly, okay? So basically this is what we need to do in all the different faces of the dice of the box, okay? So now the next step would be to use prong and surface to position the prongs for each stone. Just be mindful that by default, the direction of the surface might not be the right one. As you can see now, the prong is facing the inside of the object, which we don't want that. So the way to fix this is just to cancel the command, select the surface, and flip the surface. So flip, and now you try again. Now the prong is in the right place. Okay, remember you can use Q and E on the keyboard to edit the prong. And be careful because by default, the prong is going to sit on the surface. You want to make sure that the placement is with a negative value. That way you will guarantee that you have no issues when booleaning everything together. Okay? So I would probably put the prongs like this. You only need to use this really, because now you could just select these gems with these prongs, isolate them, so right click on hide, and all you will need to do is select these prongs, ungroup them, and simply mirror them. So I would find this near point here, and now you could just mirror, go to vertex. This is not exactly in the right place, but you can just drag it this way, okay? For something like this, I think it makes a lot of sense. It's just easier. So just like that. Okay. This one should be here. This icon in the middle. Okay, so now I have my prongs, my gems and my prongs in the right place. All I will need to do is to replicate what I've done here. So probably what I would do is just join these again, all the red bits, join it, select the box, isolate again, and now I would explode the whole thing, and I would remove these parts, and I would simply copy this to the other sides. So you can run a border array, 0, enter, 4 copies, 360. And actually, you can even join here And if you show the whole thing, what I would probably do is just, if you want to put stones in here, you could copy it, or let's go back. So if I want to place this side on the top, I could just copy, which is here, and I would just copy from here to there, and now just, you can use rotate 3D, so rotate 3D, and you put this face on the top. So the bottom is going to be solid, so I just need to join it and just cut. Okay, so now the back is solid, and I got an inset on all the other sides of the dice. Then this should be good, and I can just mirror it to this side. And now that I got selection for both, I just need to run another array polar, center of array polar 0, enter, number of items for 360. Okay, so now I got it on all the sides. Yeah. Then for these ones, I could probably squeeze 4 of these. Let's try. I don't want to copy this again, just in case. So I'm going to go to gem placer, and I'm going to position stones again. So I'm using stones slightly bigger. Yeah, that's fine. And now again, prong surface. Now the direction is fine. Make sure the placement is set to negative. And you can just put put the prongs wherever you think they should go. Okay, so I can group this, mirror it to the other side, select it, and mirror it to the other side. Okay, cool. So we're nearly finished. I'm just going to put everything in the right layer, purely for rendering purposes. If I were to manufacture this, I would probably do it quite differently. I would probably just make it, I would split these parts in two. So I would draw a plane and split this part in two, and the box would be hollow as well. So I can, well, it should be like that, basically. So that's why I would make it hollow. Then the last thing that I would do for the render is putting a chain through. So probably the best way is to rotate this again, just temporarily. So it's aligned with this now. And now I draw a smart curve, symmetry vertically, something like this. And I usually would make it quite narrow, like that. And then I can use objects on curve, which is not on the context menu. It's on the transform, I believe. Let's have a look. Object on curve. And you will see that by default it puts a sphere. That's quite useful when making mill grain, but we're not going to do that now. We're going to put a chain. So I just need to go to objects and go to this one, for example. And make sure to select the orientation to orientation method done. Okay, so this is obviously too small. Well, we don't need to make all this so many. So now the size, we will need to increase it. That's a bit too much. Actually, this is quite good. I just need to change the spacing. Okay, sometimes by default it might look quite solid. If you change the spacing, it already looks much better. Okay, so as you can see now, you just need to adjust this a little bit, and I can select now the ribbon, the veil, and the chain, and now I can just run rotation from 0 and down, straight up and to the side. Okay, that's going to make it much easier for the model to be rendered. Okay, of course it should be the same layer. So this should go here. Okay. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much.